know what I find interesting, pretty, is that when I used the take cooking classes analogy, that you immediately took it as disrespect. Like the overarching, when all I did was present the exact same way as saying, hey, you should go for that supervisor job or you should go for a leadership position. What if he does want her to cook better? If she doesn't want to cook better and she likes the way she cooks and it's doing just fine, it puts the same food, the food is still the same, you've been eating it for the last 15 years. It's the same conversation where what Trev was trying to get her to understand when she said, oh, why not? Why is it an issue for me to push you into a position of leadership? Maybe he's okay in the position that he's in, and maybe he doesn't want the responsibility of being the leader of the 17 guys at Amazon.
I'm not saying if you don't do it or if you don't get it, you're just going to be less of a person. No, it could benefit our family.
If I make some curry chicken and the man say, oh, this is too spicy, like, cool, I'll put less Scotch bonnet in it. I'll make sure whatever. Like, if that's not a hard conversation to have, but if you're go to some cooking classes, actually go to my coworker, she be making me food all the time and I really like her, then
that's the
purposely
problem.
being a fool, right? Like, you're purposely trying to be antagonistic when you can really just have an authentic conversation. Like, if you are somebody, especially if you're culturally different, you can easily meet somebody who can't handle flavor profiles you're used to cooking with. And that's a regular conversation. So that's not anything that has to be that adversive. Like, it could just be a simple thing. But if you want to make it like go to cooking classes. What's cooking classes going to tell me?
What if you don't?
It's foolish. So it is foolish to go about it that way, like, because what we're trying to do is get to the optimal result, not to offend, not to like make somebody be on edge, but to actually try to be a partner with a person, which is what draws me to the point of why are we not wanting to partner with people? Why are we trying to do this hierarchical submission nonsense all the time? Why is it that we need to always be, and it's none of that. Genuinely, most of the time especially when I hear Black people describe what they consider to be submission, it is partnership. You are describing partnership and you're saying submission. Like, you're like, oh, submission doesn't mean they're a slave. It means that we're going to talk about things, but yeah, I made the final decision. But then if she's the expert, that means that she's going to get to make that decision. And that is a partnership. Submission would literally mean she is going to yield regardless of her expertise, regardless of what she knows to be true, regardless of if she understands the why behind why she has to do something, if she's bought into it or not. It literally means she is going to yield to your authority regardless. If there is a point that she can object, that is not submission. That is partnership. That is cooperation. So I think, like, especially Black, I don't know why we're so obsessed with this word submission, considering our history. We should all be very averse to the word submission, because we should be like, oof, slavery. Probably shouldn't want anyone to submit. That's weird. Like, we should probably not like that word, right? But somehow we're obsessed with it. And it's because of how male-centered we are as a society, where we feel so badly that we want Black men to get some semblance of power, that we're going to sit here and say we're going to submit, knowing good and well, if you don't agree with the decision, you're not about to let him make the decision. He's not going to be the one paying for that decision. If he makes a bad decision and you end up foreclosing on your home and you have 2 children, y'all are paying for the decision. Everybody, not just him, everybody. So that means you are going to be a part of that decision regardless.
So, you know what I find interesting, pretty, is that when I used the take cooking classes analogy, that you immediately took it as disrespect. Like the overarching, when all I did was present the exact same way as saying, hey, you should go for that supervisor job or you should go for a leadership position. And the reason why I asked it in that way is It's the assumption that maybe she doesn't want to take cooking class. Maybe she's completely fine with the way that she cooks. But for him to come in and try to push her into something that she may not necessarily want to go into, and what if he does want her to cook better? If she doesn't want to cook better and she likes the way she cooks and it's doing just fine, it puts the same food. The food is still the same. You've been eating it for the last 15 years. It's the same conversation where what Trev was trying to get her to understand when she said, "Oh, why not? Why is it an issue for me to push you into a position of leadership?" Maybe he's okay in the position that he's in, and maybe he doesn't want the responsibility of being the leader of the 17 guys at Amazon. He cool with unloading the trucks and loading the trucks. It's an easy job. It puts food on the table. He burns his 1,800 calories a day doing the shit, and he cool.
I was just gonna respond to what Sweeney was saying because I feel like you just made my point, right? Like the whole point of the relationship is for us to be making sure that each other feel covered, protected, right? Like happy. Like we are both. It's a give and take in a relationship. So even if I've been cooking for you for the last 15 years and you've been getting by, and then one day you're like, dang, this could just be a little bit better. Like you should take cooking classes. I would not have an issue with that. Like, okay, maybe I should try it. Maybe I'll learn something new, right? That'll elevate my cooking. It's just like me saying, maybe you should go for the manager position. I'm not saying if you don't do it or if you don't get it, you're just going to be less of a person. No, it could benefit our family. Why wouldn't you want to elevate? Why can't the conversation be there? Why is it instantly like, see what we're talking about? It has to be better. He has to be the greatest of the greatest. I didn't say he had to be CEO of Amazon. I said, if you like staying here in this one place, why not elevate a little bit more? It'll help the entire situation. Just like elevating my cooking will help your palate, or maybe you'll like more things, or now I have more to offer. I have more to serve you with. That shouldn't be an issue.
Well, no,
is my thing. Either way that it goes, neither way should be an issue.
So the issue isn't always when it's asked, right? I'm not saying that the issue is when you request it. The issue is if he decides not to, or she decides not to, and the response that person may get. So, for example, if he says, "Hey, you should take more cooking classes because I think your food could be better," and you say, "I think my food is fine," and he responds a certain kind of, maybe he stops eating your food, he starts going out to eat more, or maybe he starts to criticize your food, then that's where you start to see the problems arise in the relationship. The same way of if she asks him, go for the supervisor job, and he says, "No, I'm fine where I'm at." Well, what issue do you have with elevating yourself? Don't you know that to make XYZ amount of money? You see how it's not necessarily the request, is how the response to the request is taken that often causes the issues in relationships. You can ask and you can say, "Hey, look, I think you would be great for the manager position. I think it'll be great for our family, yada, yada, yada." He says, you know what I mean? He says, "Yeah, I consider it." And then he goes, he thinks about it, and he comes back and says, "No, I don't think that's for me because I don't really want the responsibility. I'm okay completely where I'm at." And I get it. What you're saying is that in your situation, you would say, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, at least you thought of it.
In a lot of situations, that's not where the buck stops. It normally starts to create some form of normally cause some type of problem because she wants him to do this. What's the issue with you going to get better? Why can't you go out and earn more money? The job is available. You have the experience. Why won't you just go do it? And he's saying, "I don't want to do it." And it causes the issue between them two.
I just got 20 seconds. I just got 20 seconds.
I just wanted to tell Pretty, the only reason why I use the income of the the reason why I use the 48 to 60,000 is because 48,000 is what average men make, and roughly 60,000 is how much they retire on. That's the average income that most people who retire have.
Yeah, I only have 20 seconds on this, and I think that it's just the point that we missed, right? Let's use the Amazon for an example, right, which is about to lay off a whole bunch of employees. The most vulnerable positions for most of us who have at least tasted corporate America is middle management. You have more responsibility, more vulnerability, less time with your family, more stress. This is what we're forgetting. It's not just, okay, go ahead and do it, lazy. It's all of these added tasks that you're going to have and more things that they're going to miss. And it's an intense sacrifice. And not everybody wants to deal with that shit. And that's just what it is. And not every man is going to be that ambitious. The deltas are what we need in life out of this the hierarchy. That's what is the most functional. That's what keeps this world going. That's what keeps the men and women safe in society. And that's just what it is. We're not all going to be leaders. We're not all going to be that guy. And if you're an average woman, then and you want to be mated to somebody, then that's probably what you'll have to deal with.